The Jaguars have had some pretty good luck in undrafted free agency over the past few years. In 2014, the Jaguars were able to get Allen Hurns out of undrafted free agency. In 2017, they got Keelan Cole. And most recently, in 2020, they were able to get running back James Robinson, who actually eclipsed 1,000 yards on the ground last season. This offseason, we may have gotten somebody new, a new guy in undrafted free agency that could potentially make a huge impact on our Jaguars. Now, after every single draft that is over, all of us are usually very, very tired of mock drafts. We don't want to look at it for at least a few months, but there's always different articles by all the sports networks that basically come out with way too early 2021 mock drafts, like basically mock drafts for the next year. And I went back and looked at some for the 2020 season, and one in particular by Sports Illustrated had Trevor Lawrence going number 1 to the Jaguars, so bravo there. And then at number 10 overall, they actually had Walker Little, left tackle out of Stanford, who the Jaguars actually scooped up in the second round. Pick number 25, they had Jaguars cornerback Tyson Campbell going to the Bills. And also at pick number 32, they had Jay Tufele, basically getting picked by the Chiefs at number 32. And the Jaguars actually got Jay Tufele in the third round. So a lot of notable names here. But there's one name that keeps popping up on all these mock drafts. And in this particular mock draft, they had Alabama linebacker Dylan Moses going number 13 overall. And the Jaguars were able to scoop this guy in undrafted free agency. So to tell you a little bit about Dylan Moses, he was actually the number 13th ranked linebacker coming out of high school. And then he committed to Alabama basically to play linebacker. In 2019, he tore his ACL, which basically had him sit out the rest of the 2019 season. So he basically decided that he was not going to put himself in the NFL draft so he could kind of recover and then come back stronger kind of for the next draft, because obviously it was going to hurt his draft stock. But unfortunately, when he played in 2020, he was his play regressed a little bit just because he was suffering an injury all year. So it was kind of hurting him physically, and actually turned out that he played most of the games with a torn MCL. So that kind of shows you that he's tough as hell. And also, he was dealing with a little bit of personal issues as his grandmother actually passed away due to the pandemic. So a lot of stuff was really going on. And really a big reason why he dropped is because of the medical reasons. Really, when you look at different things, like the Jaguars, there was no NFL Combine this year. And from a fan perspective, we all look at the NFL Combine and basically say, oh, teams need to do this because you get to see them run a 40-yard dash. We get to see how high they jump, all this different stuff. But really, that might be the third most important thing about the Combine, really, to NFL teams. One thing that NFL teams do in the Combine is they get to really interview these guys. And, it's a lot of times it's not even about, okay, how hard of a worker are you? And stuff like that. It's mostly they throw out questions at them that kind of throw them off. One time they asked a player if he was gay. They wanted to kind of see his reaction to that. And another year they asked this dude if his mom was a prostitute. You know what I mean? So they throw these different questions at players to throw them off to kind of see what their reaction is. I can't really explain it, but that's what they do. And another big thing that they do is medical stuff. They send their own team's doctors over there and check them out. And they want to see really how the medicals. So say, for example, a guy has a meniscus injury and a lot of teams are concerned about their meniscus. What these teams do is they try to basically see how bad the meniscus is. And it's not like the x-ray. They basically put pressure on those injuries to kind of see how they react. Like, are they in pain? You know what I mean? They really test out these injuries. And I remember Miles Jack back in the day went through the freaking ringer. He said that he was so sore after it because, man, they were just poking. Every team was poking and prying his knee, and it was crazy. And, this is actually a very similar situation as Miles Jack because there were meniscus injury concerns on both levels, and the Jaguars were able to snag Miles Jack after he fell into the second round after being projected a top 5 pick. And it's kind of a similar thing this year with Dylan Moses, as I think he was actually off of, 5 teams' draft boards this year. So that's a big thing really coming out of Dylan Moses. Now, Nick Saban was actually quoted saying that he was really surprised by the fact that he went undrafted. What he went on to say was, it had nothing to do with what kind of football player he is. It was based on medical grades by the teams, which frankly was a little surprising to me. In my time in the league, when guys were injured and they came back and played, that usually got out of that five medical grade, which is undraftable. So basically, the 5 medical grade, there's like a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is undraftable, 4 is very concerned, and all that stuff. So he was surprised by it, and actually later on he went into the article saying that I was a coach of the Miami Dolphins and they failed Drew Brees in his medical test and we didn't get him. And then later on he went on to like 14 Pro Bowls, whatever. So obviously he has his own kind of past when it comes to NFL injury issues. But yeah, I mean, this year the Jaguars got Dylan Moses, an undrafted free agency. We'll kind of see what happens to him. He kind of projects more as a weak side linebacker, which is actually the position that Miles Jack plays. But we'll see what happens, because obviously the NFL is always advancing, it's always changing, and nowadays you want to get your best players on the field at all times. So I can imagine Joe Cullen, if he does feel that he's a great player, he's going to find a way to really fit him on the field. So I'm very excited about this selection. I mean, we have really no risk involved. And hey, if he has to rehab all year due to the MCL, throw him on the IR, kind of put him on the bench the whole year. Then in 2022, let's roll with him and let's attack, man. That's a big strategy that I would go for in my mind. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. A big announcement this Tuesday, June 1st at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going live with the Men in Teal podcast. So I'll throw their links down below if you guys want to go over there and check them out. I'll put their YouTube channel down below, man. Let's get them a bunch of subscribers, man. Let's see if we can double their subscriber count after this. I'm always about helping out the Jaguars community and getting these different guys popping up and blowing them up. So definitely go check out with me over there. And with all that said, thank you guys for watching the video. I'm out. You guys watched the whole video. Really appreciate that. You guys can subscribe to the channel for the best source of Jaguars news on the YouTube platform. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at UCF_Jaguar. And you can become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month for exclusive channel content. Thank you guys, and go Jags.